Hey guys, welcome back. We got another session of advanced FPV maneuvers for y'all. This time we're gonna be talking about backwards flying. That's why I got my Cricket FPV shirt. Yeah, he's the king of backwards flying, but I got a few tricks up my sleeve too. I wanna tell you guys about some of the tricks I've learned when it comes to backwards flying with FPV mini quads. Now, the first thing to note is you're gonna need a way to enter your backwards maneuver. And we're gonna start off with just the easiest way you can possibly enter. Think about it right now. We're gonna be in established forward flight. So you've got your drone here, right? It's moving forward through the air at a steady speed. Usually you're around 20 to 30 degrees of forward tilt if you're at a nice cruise. We're not talking about going crazy here, right? Now, if you try to just turn around, we're all used to making turns where we mix roll and yaw and kind of adjust for our pitch, and we'll do something like this and we'll end up pointed in a new direction. So you start out going this way and then you get going this way, maybe you give it a little bit of bank to stop your momentum and take off in that new direction. If all you're trying to do is transition to backwards flight, that's not what we're gonna do at all. We're gonna put one input on one stick and you should be established for a perfect backwards flight. What I'm gonna do on my initial backwards flights is I will be established in that forward flight, right? And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it a yaw command until I'm looking in the complete opposite direction. And if the only stick input that I give is on the yaw axis, what the drone is gonna do is it's gonna yaw around and we're gonna be set up for a perfect backwards flight, and we're gonna be flying down the stable's hallways. So I'm gonna get going nice and steady down the hallway. We should be shielded from the wind, give it that yaw input, and now we'll be established in backwards flight. Now that brings us to the second point. It's gonna look a little bit weird. If you've never done any backwards flying, your view is gonna throw you off. With my camera, everybody runs a little bit of up tilt, right? Some people are more like 0 to 5 degrees, some people are more 45 for their racing. I personally run around a 25 to 30 degree angle. The reason for that is I like my video feed in the FPV to match up with the HD recording, so that if I mix roll and yaw to get a nice on-axis roll, it looks the same in the HD footage as it does in the FPV camera. Now, what that means is that through experimentation, I've found that about 30 degrees of nose-up camera means that I can just barely see straight forward when I am in a hover during landing, or if I'm just hovering and looking at something. Now, that works out for forward flight and just checking things out, but if I'm trying to fly backwards, it means that I no longer can see the ground. Now, that's gonna introduce a lot of issues in maintaining your height. So you're gonna have to get comfortable taking your visual cues from other inputs in the environment. Everybody's probably really used to looking at the ground and judging how high off the ground you are. Well, if I'm in a very fast backward flight, the only thing I'm looking at is the ceiling. Now I have to judge my height above the ground based off of how far away the ceiling is from me, or maybe the trees that I'm flying under. If I'm in an open field, good luck. All I've got is the sky, and I've got no reference to how high off the ground I am. So if you ever see me flying backwards, chances are I'm gonna be doing it through some constrained area, and while it may seem like that makes it harder, it actually makes it much, much, much easier. It's easy to talk about the different stimulus that I'm like taking in from the environment in order to read the situation and fly the craft through the environment. I'm gonna talk to you as I see it live. I'll give you the HD footage, I'll put the DVR on there so that you know exactly what I was looking at, and we'll also have a little clip of me, maybe just the audio, we'll see what we actually use here, and stick footage. We'll have all of the above, all the footages, right? Now, there are other advanced types of backwards flying. People talk about Matty Flips. What is a Matty Flip? So a Matty Flip is you're flying forward, you go over top of some object, you execute a front flip. You can spend some amount of time looking at it. You can transition right into your backwards flight and fly back underneath said object. There are a lot of variations. You could come and chuck the quad and float backwards for a long time and then slowly pull it back in underneath. You could go over something and do a quick front flip and then come back underneath. All of these, at the end, you are going to be establishing a steady backwards flight underneath the object. You'll need to be able to judge your height, and you'll need to be able to set your pitch accordingly so that you go backwards. Nobody likes it when you try to do a Matty and you stop and you're like, whoa, you kind of hang out right here for a second, and then, oh yeah, I need to tilt back, and now you fly back underneath it. It just looks sloppy. So I'm gonna help you guys in setting up your Matties so that it looks like a nice, smooth Matty flip all the way through. Okay, now there's other advanced reverse maneuvers that you can do, such as, flips and rolls while you're flying in reverse, and all of these are some variations on that. Now, one quick note about the way that I'll be entering my Matty flips. I'm gonna be entering Matty flips via a forward flip. I'm gonna abruptly stop in roughly the right attitude to fly backwards underneath the obstacle, okay? Now, practicing your forward flips, if you are not comfortable doing forward flips and back flips and rolls, you should probably be working on that maneuver before trying this. One note on my forward flips. When I do a flip, I will give it full stick deflection, and I know roughly how long it takes to get the full rotation. As I'm approaching the end of the flip, I will start to ease off, and I'm gonna pay attention visually, and I'm gonna gently return the stick to the center position in order to stop at exactly the point that I want. I don't tune my quads to the nth degree to where there's no bounce back, because I always gently stop the ends of my flips and rolls. I don't ever do it super abrupt. It's way easier to be accurate on the stop that way than it is with these super abrupt sticks and flips and rolls. My personal style, your mileage may vary, so take that with a grain of salt. But without any further talking, let's get out there and go fly some packs. All right, first flight, I'm just gonna kind of clear this building, make sure good to go front to back, back to front. Looking good so far. So I'm gonna come in here. We're just gonna enter a straightaway. All right, so now I'm set up nice and good on and I'm even gonna take my right finger off of the stick. And you can see all I'm doing now is making small adjustments. I can see the other end of the doorway. Okay, hang on. All right, so now nice and steady into it. You see where the door is in my DVR image? It's like almost center image, a little bit low. I'm gonna yaw around, and now the door is at the very bottom of the image. And I'm just gonna keep that door low like that all the way to the far side. That's all there is to this backwards flying. So we come in. Now if I want to go faster, I can just look only at the ceiling, and I'm keeping an eye on the cinder blocks as they go by, because that is giving me, some indication of my height off the ground. Now I clip the ground as I came out because the ground kind of rises up. We're going to yaw it around, keep it going nice and fast all the way down the hallway. As I exit the door, give it a nice flip and roll, pull it out. And that's how you fly backwards. Now, the trick to that, you notice what the image looked like. When I'm flying backwards, I can barely see the ground. The door at the far side is at the bottom of my image, and I'm just cruising it back out. Staying below that 2x4 on the left and right hand side, and that lets me know that I'm not too high to go out the door on the far end. Okay, now I'm gonna keep a memory of that image. So I'm gonna keep that image in my mind. And on this door right here, we have a window up top and then a door on the bottom. I'm gonna fly through the top window, do a front flip, catch it right here, and I'm just gonna look for that same image. And see, if I put that image the same way, I fly backwards right out the door, right? So we're gonna do a Matty flip around this in the same way. So we come up, not too fast. The faster, if you go really fast entering a Matty flip, then it takes you longer to establish that backwards flight. If I fly into this fast, I'm gonna have to hold the door even lower, or maybe even make it to where I don't see the door when I stop my front flip. So let's do a nice, easy, slow one first. So we're just kind of cruising in here. We do our front flip, and there we go. I look for the image. See, that took me a second to get going backwards. So I want to hold the door even lower in my image this time on this Matty flip. You see how that time I didn't even see the door, but I came right back around. All right, now let's try flying in a little bit faster, being a little bit more aggressive on that. See what I did there? I focused on the roof, and that helped me arrest that forward momentum and bring it right around back outside. Now, one other thing that you can do, you can start combining these. So this was something that I was trying to do last time I was here. I was trying to do a power loop to reverse power loop. So we do a little up here. Oh, okay. That wasn't what I was looking for. Bring it down the hallway, going down the hallway, ring the lamp. Again, not what I was looking for. Come on, you can do this. All right, down the hallway. Ah! That wasn't pretty. This thing frustrated me at Drone Adventure, the little festival they put on here too. Nailed it. All right, I'm happy with that. All right, that's gonna conclude another Advanced FPV Maneuvers. I hope that you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. Let me know in the comments what trick you would like to see next in this series of Advanced FPV Maneuvers. I know it's kind of a basic intro to Matty Flips and backwards flying, but I feel like that is one of those tricks that really starts to separate the beginners from the intermediate and advanced pilots, is the ability to not only fly the drone forwards, but fly it backwards and have the situational awareness to take all of your cues in from the rest of the environment. Now, the things that I talked about were, you know, maintaining your altitude and maintaining an attitude for like steady backwards flight. There are other factors to take into considerations in different environments. Like maybe there's a pole in the middle of the room and you know that you need to bias yourself to the left or the right. It's all about taking those cues and lining up for things. I've been in situations where I knew that if I lined up perfectly on a sign on the wall, I'd be lined up for the hallway behind me. And that's how I transitioned into the reverse flight there. So always take advantage of your environment and get the visual cues that you can where you can. I hope this has been helpful, and we'll catch you guys next time. All right, later.